Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Cloud and Clear. I'm so excited to host this week Narine Galstian, CMO at SADA'S. So I'll be taking over Tony Safoyan for this episode. And with my guest, Nikki Harley, who is the Director of Strategic Alliances at SADA. She recently joined us back in August 2020 and has just, performed incredible work to bring our alliance partners together and launch a new program, the SaaS Alliance Partner Program, which we'll get into in more detail. But Nikki, say hi.
Hey guys, thanks for having me on. Really excited to be here. As Narine mentioned, joined SADA back in August of last year. So been here for about 6 months now, but definitely worked with a lot of folks at SADA prior to me officially joining, and we'll get into more of that later. But yeah, really excited to be here and be a part of the team.
That's right. We had work with Nikki in the partner ecosystem. So thankful that she decided to join SADA. But before we get deeper into our alliance programs and strategies, let's take a step back and get an introduction to who Nikki is and give us a little, insight into your background and how you came on this journey.
Yeah, where to start? I think probably going back to my time at the Atlanta Hawks, worked in the NBA, and never thought I'd end up working in sports. I grew up with a single mom and two sisters, so always funny where life takes you. But was at the Atlanta Hawks for a handful of years and really found my stride working and selling to technology companies in the Atlanta area. Atlanta in the last handful of years has really become kind of more of a tech hub, like on the East Coast. Have a lot of great talent here from Georgia Tech and UGA. So more and more companies are, starting businesses here, and working at the Hawks. That's really where I kind of found my love for technology alliances, let's say. Worked with Google data centers here in Atlanta, worked with companies like SalesLoft and QA Symphony. So yeah, really found that love there. And that's kind of what led me to AODocs and having those different connections in the industry, and opportunity came up. And so I made the jump over to AODocs into the world of GCP and workspace and all things Google. That was entirely new to me. So, a little intimidating breaking into, a brand new industry. It's one thing to sell to that industry. It's another thing to be in that industry. And so, spent a few years at AODocs, which is a workspace ISV, a Google Workspace ISV, and really got to know everybody there and got to know the Google ecosystem, and had a lot of help, right? I'm not like technical by nature. So that's one thing where a lot of times I have to bring a whole lot smarter people around me to kind of be that, be that knowledge center for me and help break things down. So leaned on a lot of people there, got up to speed, and slowly but surely started to build out a channel program at AODocs, which hadn't really been done there before. It was one that was, a big priority, why they brought me on, and SADA obviously being one of those partners that we wanted to go after.
I think we met at Accelerate.
Mm-hmm.
That you were in that meeting with myself and Joe Costco, and we were discussing partnerships a few years ago in Vegas.
I remember that. Feels like forever ago now with the, no in-person Accelerate, but yeah. Definitely great times. Was there, with a few folks from AODocs, and I think working with the SADA team really, SADA in particular was one, especially on the workspace side, right? Because AODocs, being a workspace ISV, they are so open to working with partners, and that's one thing. Like Nabil on the account management team, like me and him became buddies when I was still at AODocs, and I joke all the time. I was like, but if Nabil's having a great time at SADA, like it's got to be a great time. So it's one of those things where I think I was really excited to join SADA because there was so much potential there, because there was so much enthusiasm around partners, but there just wasn't that programmatic or systematic approach to it just yet. And so I think that was what was so exciting about this is coming to work with people I already knew were already great to work with, who already had this enthusiasm to then really come in and kind of bring that to life and make it official.
Well, we're thrilled to have you. And, like you said, we've had partners in our ecosystem for quite some time, but not in a real defined, organized fashion. And it just, takes a lot of work to really understand each partner's value to our customers and to the ecosystem, and how to define those give gets between partnerships, so that there's a win-win with every agreement that you do, and not having to customize every single time that you do these types of agreements, right? Having a foundation that you can build off of and have conversations around. But what is it about channel and alliances that kind of drives your passion? Like what is about that, the industry and the work that has kept you in it and growing?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think honestly, like to the core, it's building relationships. That's, I'm really, really passionate about that, right? Like if I can wake up every day and go to work and just build relationships with people that are meaningful and lead to something that's, valuable, then, that's a great way to make a living, in my opinion. But, really, I think it's also building something from nothing. Uh, I'm an Enneagram 3. I don't know if you know what Enneagrams are. It's like a personality type thing. Uh, yep. And so Enneagram 3s are like known for being like workaholics and entrepreneurs, and as I guess unhealthy as that can be in some scenarios, is very true for me. And I think the entrepreneurial spirit of building these types of programs from nothing and creating it into something and seeing that grow and be successful is so fulfilling to me. Beyond being able to work with great people and build those relationships, just seeing that grow is a really great thing to do.
Well, you're in great company in SADA, right? Because so many of us are driven by that entrepreneurial spirit, and having the ability to create and grow a program and initiative. I think there's a lot of great ideas that flow all the time through SADA, from engineering and support services to the sales to the account management and marketing teams. And we had this need, right, for these cloud natives or SaaS companies who were looking at cloud platforms and clearly saw a fit for Google Cloud, in differentiation in the technical aspects of things and the pricing aspects, but really needed some additional support, And so let's talk about specifically, how you started to build this new program. And it's quite the journey. And I know it wasn't easy because I went through it with you. But I think it's really great to walk the audience and everyone through what does it take to really understand the partner ecosystem and build a program from scratch.
Yeah, absolutely. Thankfully, coming into this role at SADA, I had a great foundation to work with. Charlie Lisk and Courtney Graham on the sales team in South Central really kind of started a grassroots effort of this program prior to me joining SADA. And it was something that, they're both passionate about. But obviously they have full-time jobs selling to any and all industries, right? Not just cloud natives or to SaaS companies, right? So, working with them when I first started and kind of seeing what they had put together, learning from conversations that they've had, interviewing folks, across the board internally at SADA, whether that's, you and the marketing team, whether that's the CSMs, the account managers, the different sales reps, Miles, Joe, just really taking advice from everybody. I remember my first week, I'm really big on Google Form surveys. I think they're a great way to get feedback. And so in my first week, I sent, a company-wide survey out asking of people's opinions about this program and what they thought would be valuable and what they're hearing from these types of companies. So that was a really big piece. And then also talking to Googlers and current customers that are SaaS companies, right? Hearing from them, like straight from the horse's mouth, what can SADA do, and what has SADA done already to impact your business beyond the technical capabilities and helping them be more efficient and cost effective in their cloud.
Tell us a little bit while you're talking to a lot of these partners and ISVs and also our sales representative, what was kind of the common requests that you were getting across all of them? Where was the real needs for co-marketing and co-selling coming in, and how did you kind of identify where we can fill those gaps?
We were hearing a lot of the same things over and over and over again from these businesses, right? And that was go-to-market support from, co-marketing, co-selling, and, being more specific, really helping propel and get their names out there, relying on brands that are larger than them at this point in their journey, right? SADA, you've done a great job of building that brand and creating that story of how GCP and SADA are better together. And so being able to utilize that same story for why, our customers like Quantum Metric, GCP and SADA are better together, right? So being able to talk about that in a case study or a blog, getting CEOs on Cloud and Clear with Tony, right? That's something that's really valuable to these companies. I always make the joke whenever I was leaving AODocs and was jumping over to SADA. Our head of business development made the joke that was like, Nikki, if you can't do anything else for us, like just get us on a Cloud and Clear with Tony, please. So, it's one of those things where what might seem to be like, maybe small gives to us, right? Like we're already doing these Cloud and Clears. We see so much value in bringing these types of companies onto this platform to tell their story. So that's really a win-win for us and for these customers.
Yeah, I think it speaks volumes to the brand that SADA has created within the Google Cloud ecosystem and in the industry to have partners, first want to partner with SADA, right? Or even considering a partnership with SADA. We're certainly very thankful to have that resonate in the market, but also being able to really align with Google Cloud and around their initiatives to support SaaS companies, cloud natives, and startups, right, that are just getting their footprint into the market and need help to scale and grow their solutions, and having the right technical, cloud foundation is important. So tell me about kind of the work you've done with Google and aligning with their program and making sure that, we're kind of lockstep with what they're providing into the market, and then the differentiator that SADA brings to the table.
As closely as we can align with Google and their program is the goal, right? And that's kind of our strategy across everything, not just this program, right? So staying true to that and, trying to gather as much information as possible about Google's programs, which, I experienced firsthand at AODocs, so I did have a little bit of an advantage there. But, this new strategy that they're taking, it's not, it wasn't something that was there when I was at AODocs, right? Like it's some of this is new for Google too. So really trying to get a better understanding of where they're investing and where they're seeing value. And that really is in a lot of scenarios is the co-sell program that they have developed. And it's something that's really difficult to get into. It's certainly a high bar, a high threshold, and as it should be, right? But that's something that getting access to Google sellers, same as this program, and getting access to SADA sellers to inform them about these types of solutions and when it makes sense to introduce them to either existing customers or new prospects and co-sell and go prospecting into an account together. That's something that, any ISV would be thrilled about, is having a programmatic way to approach that kind of account mapping and co-selling, as opposed to what I say we, right? Like old habits die hard, but what those ISVs are so used to, which is like grassroots efforts, just, sending cold emails, asking for introductions left and right. And it's one of those things where it's, it gets tiresome after a while, for sure, right? Like speaking from experience. So having that programmatic approach is huge. And then having dedicated resources to help with that. That's something that not only Google's new program is offering in their ISV sales specialist roles, but also something that we're offering in our program with the Alliance Account Manager, which anybody who's a part of the program gets one of those, but also potentially, depending on which tier you fall into, a dedicated Alliance sales rep on our inside sales team. So kind of getting two for the price of one there, being able to approach those go-to-market strategies together between SADA and Google is incredibly valuable. And again, some of the things in our program that Google can offer, like Cloud and Clear.
Right, exactly. Well, I think, we're able to just from our culture and internal processes, able to really wrap our services around every customer that we support, right? And every customer that, commits to Google Cloud via SADA, we're able to make sure that there's always, hands-on white glove services provided to them. And at times, we kind of pilot these programs before we launch. And we recently announced this new SaaS Alliance program. But you've been working on it with our pilot partners, as I like to call them, for the past several months. So tell us a little bit about how you identified those partners and, successes you saw with them already.
We have 4 right now that we've launched with as a part of the program officially, but we've had a few more join us here in Q4. So in Q3, we saw Quantum Metric, which is a session replay type of solution, very very important for retail and e-commerce companies, financial services, really any sort of company that's looking to get more insight into their customer experience online, which, given the times, all businesses have been kind of forced to move to a more virtual business, right? So really timely partnership there, in my opinion. And they just recently announced their Series B funding, and so they're a rocket ship to the moon. We're excited to be a part of that journey for sure. But in Quantum Metrics scenario, we have an alliance manager who's helping out in terms of making sure all the deliverables are met and the partnership is successful as a whole, right? And then we also have a dedicated alliance sales rep who works, in lockstep with their Google ISV sales specialist. So between SADA's dedicated roles and the deliverables as a part of that program, as well as Google's dedicated roles, along with Quantum Metric, it's really just like a win-win-win all around. We meet with them every week and go through the different deliverables and measuring against KPIs and seeing where we're at and what we can do more of. So that's one that's been, a really great partnership from the start and just really taking off. Decisive is another one. They are a SOC as a service, SOC as a service platform, security. And they're just getting started. It's a pretty new company, but really excited to be, a part of helping them accelerate their growth and get their name out there to the market. I think they're going to be really big ones and doing a lot there with Google as well. Same scenario as Quantum Metric, having that in lockstep, both of those roles and both of those organizations. Data analytics and security. Those are 2 areas that we're seeing a ton of as of late.
Yes, and we have Packet Fabric and Virtru, who are also launch partners and doing amazing work and really providing additional, solutions to our customer install base. So, as you grow and continue to talk to additional partners in the ecosystem who want to join this program, kind of what is your vetting process, if you will? What are the criterias that you're looking for an ideal partnership?
Great question. I think probably the biggest indicator of a successful partnership is when we already have mutual customers. If they're already working with customers of ours and we're already working with customers of theirs, I think that's a really good indicator of success. But in some scenarios, there's companies that are just starting out. Maybe they only have a handful of customers, right? And that's why they want to join this program, is to be able to scale and accelerate that customer acquisition. So, I would say between meeting those criteria of providing valuable solutions that we know there is a need for in the market, and again, kind of going back to data analytics, security, those are two pieces, of the puzzle that are really important to any company, right? And so making sure that they fall into the right categories, meet needs of our customers. And if we've already seen shared mutual success, then I think that's, the cherry on top.
Yes, definitely. Shared successes, one of our key statements for our new brand is your success is our success, right? It's really tied to our pillars of being bold, dynamic, and not stop, and serving the greater good of the community we're in. And growing this partner program from a culture perspective is going to be very important for you as the leader of the team. So tell me a little bit about your vision for your team, and what you're trying to achieve from a culture perspective.
This is something that's so important. I think culture is such a big aspect of work satisfaction, right? Like, if you enjoy who you work with, it's not really work. Every day is like you're hanging out with your friends, right? So I think it's definitely important to find people who are enthusiastic and excited about alliances and building partner programs. It's something that's certainly not meant for everyone. You kind of have to be a little scrappy, especially here in the beginning when you're building something new, right? It definitely takes a lot of hustle and grit. So, definitely looking for people who are excited about that and have that entrepreneurial spirit and are excited to get up and build something new every single day. It's definitely not always easy to find, but I think we've got a great team here with us so far. We have Gabe, who everybody jokes, Dr. Gabe. He's ironically a surgeon. So, one of those things where he's obviously kind of started his own businesses in the past and really has that entrepreneurial spirit and loves helping people. And kind of at the core of this program, that's what it is, right? Is helping these ISVs and being their advocate internally and externally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, having people be aligned with that, serving mentality as the foundation of everything that, we do is a great way to grow and scale our partner programs. If our partners are not successful, then we're not either, right? So bringing that to the forefront of everything that we do, from sales perspective to our account management team to our support team, and not just for partners, but obviously all customers. And really the uniqueness here is that they're customers first and partners, right? So you have that component of the program that plays into how it's built and how the success is measured. And from like your vision, long term, where are you seeing this going?
Man, I think there's no limits. I think this is something that could really turn into something great, and I would absolutely love it if all of our partners as a part of this program ended up getting acquired and going public and doing all of the things that startups hope and dream about, right? There's really no limits, and I think between everything that Google's doing, everything that we're starting to do here. It's just a recipe for success, and I know we're going to have a really fun 2021. I can already tell.
Yes, despite a pandemic and everything else happening in the world today, I think there are some amazing things happening to amazing people and great companies, and it's just nice to be on this journey with you and the SADA team. So thank you for the contribution you've made to creating this amazing program. We're super excited about it, and we'll have to circle back and give another session to update everybody on how well it's going.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. This is an incredible opportunity to be able to build this and kind of take what was a handful of people's thoughts and ideas here in the beginning and really build that and turn it into reality. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm really excited to see where this goes.
Great. Thank you for joining us for this week's Cloud and Clear episode. Until next time, thank you.
Thank you for listening to Cloud and Clear. Check the show notes for links to this week's topics. And don't forget to connect with us on Twitter @Cloud and Clear and our website, SADA.com. Be sure to rate and review the show on your favorite podcast app.